Hello and welcome to this new video. Before we dive into this week's topic and painting, I wanted to apologize for my last video. Not for the video itself, but the audio quality. I used a different microphone than in the other two I recorded before, and only after I had recorded everything, I realized that the sound is sometimes a little bit distorted, and I'm sorry for that. So I decided to use my microphone again that I used in the first two videos. It's here, and I hope the audio quality is better again. So this week's topic for my painting is gonna be soft or kind to yourself. And it came to me by my calendar. I have like a calendar from which I rip off a page every day. And there's always like a quote, a little inspiration on each page for each day to think about or to just, take with me into the day. And there was one that I got inspired by a lot in the last days, and I'm gonna read it out. It's here. It's in German, of course, because I'm German and my calendar is German. And I'm trying to translate it while I'm reading it internally in German. You have to be soft to yourself every single day in order for the hardness of the world not to sink into your soul. And I really liked it because we're always so hard to ourselves. I mean, I know situations in which I'm really criticizing myself and I'm using not very nice words for myself when I fail with something or whatever. And life is hard enough, actually. And why are we always going so hard on ourselves? I guess it's a part of our nature, but when we become mindful about it, we can change our inner conversation. And I was inspired by that quote, by that sentence, and even did a yoga class about it to become soft. And now I want to bring it into a picture, into a painting. And as usual, I'm gonna show you a time-lapse video of the process itself. Afterwards, I'm gonna comment on first the material and equipment that I used, and afterwards the process itself. So have fun and enjoy. as usual, after showing you the process in a time-lapse video, I'm gonna talk you through which material and equipment I used, and afterwards I'm gonna comment on the process even more. So when I started to do the background, I used white color mixed with a little bit of blue so that I get more or less this really light blue. Maybe it's a sky or I don't know. And I put it on to the paper with this brush, which is actually not a brush for painting. It's from my kitchen. And it's actually used for baking. If you want to glaze muffins or a cake or whatever, or just put some egg white on something or whatever, you can use this. And I wanted to try it out to see how it works on the paper. And I actually like that it created such lines on the paper. Yeah, as the bottom part, I used white mixed with a little bit of red, so I get like this rose color. And I also used the same brush for that. And then I took a break actually, because when I had the background on the paper, I didn't quite know how to continue. And then I had the idea to use such a paper cup and to use the edge of it to make circles, because I had the idea I wanted to use this face, this emoji face that for me stands for relaxation, being quiet, being in a serene and calm state of mind. And so I used this paper cup to do the circles. Afterwards, the faces I did with those oil pastels. I don't know if they're called like this, or crayons of oil pastel, I don't know. I hope so. In German it's Ölpastellkreide, so I guess it's pretty much the same in English. And then I had the idea that I wanted to have some kind of feather-like structures on the paper, on the painting. And then I asked myself, okay, how am I gonna do those feathers? Am I gonna just draw them with those pastels or whatever? And then something came up in my mind and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go into the garden and take a look what plant I might be able to use that has like a feather-like look. And I found actually two. I found the fern that I actually didn't use, because I used this one and I really don't know what plant this is. But when I did the first print with it, I immediately knew that this was exactly the kind of print I wanted to have. So I used this and always painted it white, and you have it all over the painting, like those little structures everywhere of feathers, because for me feathers are also a symbol of softness, tenderness, of calmness, and everything that this painting wants to express. And in the end I used this silver mixed with a lot of water, because I wanted to have like a glittery layer on my painting. And I think you really have to take a close look. Here you can see it quite well, that it has a shiny, glittery layer on top to give it like even more of a light and soft look. Yeah, and that's everything I used. Oh, by the way, for the last layer, I used this really big brush. It's like, I don't know, it's about 5 centimeters. Something like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk you through the process. When I started with this painting, I knew I wanted to have light colors, because like it's the topic of lightness, of softness, of tenderness. I think tenderness is maybe even the better word than softness, because softness for me is something physical and tenderness is more something mental. But I could be wrong, and I think both words express pretty much the same idea. So I'm going to use both. And as a synonym. So definitely I wanted to have light colors, and I thought of those pastel colors that I used in the end, this light blue and light rose. I mean, they could have been even lighter, but I didn't want to use as much color. So I was quite okay with this slightly darker blue than expected. I should have used a little less blue, but yeah, okay, that's fine. And then, as I said before, when I commented on the material I used, I needed to take a kind of a break because I didn't know how to continue after I painted the background. I had different ideas, and none of my ideas that came up really sparked with me. But then I had the idea, or I had it before already, but I didn't quite know if I really wanted to do that or not. But then I thought, yes, I really want to do that. I want to have this emoji face that really represents softness, tenderness, because this, I'm pretty sure you know this emoji. And for me, it really speaks of softness, tenderness, of being calm and serene within myself. And so first I thought I'm just gonna do one, but when I had this paper cup for doing the face, it would have been just too small on this whole background. So I thought, why not do more than one? And I still had color, the rose and blue, it was left over from the background. So I thought, why waste it? So I'm gonna use it and put the rose on the blue black background and the blue face on the rose background, and then use again the contrasting colors, the darker ones for the face itself. And it was, and then I decided to do the eyes and the mouth not with the usual gouache color, but with oil pastels, so that they stand out more and that they don't fade somehow into the background. And I would have had to mix new colors again or use other colors in order to stand out from the background. And I didn't want to do that for whatever reason, because I don't like to waste too much color also. So I decided to do that, and I always like, or I sometimes like to mix different kinds of materials and to experiment with it. So I used this oil pastel crayons. I still don't know how they're really called, but for sure you know what I mean. And also the idea with a feather I already had before when I had the topic in my mind. But also I didn't know if I want to do that or not. But then I thought, yes, they would fit well between those serene and calm faces or emojis. And as I said, I went up into the basement and into the garden. We have quite a big garden with a lot of plants and mostly wild stuff. And I went around to look if there's any kind of plant that represents this feather-like structures. And I found it, as I said. It's this one. I'm not sure how it's called, and it really doesn't matter that much. But it was really perfect, and immediately once I put it on the paper, printed it on the paper, I knew that I loved it. Because it was absolutely perfect, the perfect size, the perfect shape. And for me, it really looks like feathers now, even though I know it's actually a plant with which I printed it. But I also enjoyed really a lot using a plant for my painting, to use it as a printing material. As I said, I love to experiment with colors, with material, with all kinds of things. And I think it's the first time that I used a plant as a printing material. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that again because it was a lot of fun. Maybe I'm going to do a painting one day only printed with different plants from the garden. That would be a nice idea during spring or during the summer, definitely before autumn, before all nature is going down again. Yeah, and I wanted to close with this extra layer of glitter and extra layer of tenderness, because glitter for me is vitality in one sense, but also it gives some kind of little extra into life. And this is something I wanted to have on this painting again. I already said that in a previous video that I love to use gold and silver, and I just knew that I needed to use this in any kind of way in my painting today. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied with how everything went. Even though in between I felt kind of stuck and I thought, oh God, maybe I cannot finish. But that was the moment when I took some deep breaths to settle in again with the topic in my mind and not to panic, but to let creativity find its own way and find its expression. Because I know when I want to force it, when I want to push it, then I get totally stuck and blocked. So I took a short break to, as I said, settle in again and take some deep breaths to calm down and find the next step. And it came from within. That's what intuitive art is about. And taking a break is always a good idea, also in life when you feel stuck. Then you can always take a break and relax, take some few breaths, and let everything that's inside of you unfold by itself. And that's what I did. And maybe that's kind of a message today even. And I tried not to be hard on myself for not knowing exactly what I wanted to do, but rather, and for not having the next idea right in my head, but to stay soft with myself and to be tender in order for the hardness not to sink in to my soul, as the little calendar paper told me to. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. And if you like my video, then consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to release a new video once a week. Sometimes it doesn't work out and it's totally fine for me. I'm also being tender with myself on that point. But yeah, if you want to regularly see new videos, how you can spark your creativity, what kind of materials you can explore and experiment with, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel. And also share any thoughts or comments with me here in the comment section. And also like this video if you liked it. Thank you a lot for watching and see you next time.